Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and this time we have the GeForce RTX 3070 Ti and we're gonna test it in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. And here are all the specs of the card. We have the Asus ROG Strix OC model of the card. Resizable bar is enabled inside BIOS. We have the latest NVIDIA driver 572.83 as well. And for the CPU we got the Intel Core i7-13700KF, and for memory we got 64 gigabytes of DDR5, 6000 mega transfers per second CL36. Finally, for MSI Afterburner, no overclocks are applied. Everything is set to stock settings. So let's get inside the game and check out the frame rates. So here is the settings, guys. We're gonna make it 1080p at first. And exclusive full screen upscaling method. These are all the methods you got. And I have also manually overridden the DLSS version from the NVIDIA app. And frame generation, we don't have DLSS frame gen because it's 30 series. Reflex is there, DLAA, TAA, SMA, and all that stuff is also there for anti-aliasing. VSync is turned off, and graphics settings is pretty much maxed out right now. Everything is set to their maximum settings. So let's get inside the game. So we start in the jungle area, as you can see. After the prologue completes, let me start the counters there. We're getting 60 FPS in this jungle, which means it's gonna increase when we get out of this place. And I expected a bit higher with the 3070 Ti, maybe around like 70-ish frames inside this jungle, even though it is touching 70. Which means the 4060 and other GPUs in the lower end are gonna have a hard time. We have to tweak the settings for them. So this is basically maxed out right now at 1080p resolution using DLAA.
Guess I was wrong. Turns out.
And I'm also gonna check how much we can get using TAA, because the difference was a bit too much, like 10-12 FPS with the 4070 Ti Super, which I tested earlier today. And I'll do the same. I'll check this out also, but honestly, DLAA looks far better than TAA in this game, and that is why you see that huge drop in FPS probably.
Stay with Shimmer. Yeah.
And let's see what we have. We're getting like 190 FPS here. FPS is kind of all over the place. Like in the interiors, it goes up a lot, like 100. But outside, it drops to like 70s in the jungle areas. But most of the time, I think it should be around 80 FPS. We got a map. Don't want to see that right now.
Anything good in there?
And as you can see, since we are not under many trees around this area, we're getting like 90, 80 FPS. But as soon as I enter that jungle again, there's gonna be another forest up ahead. As you can see, there's a lot of trees there. And there's that beautiful waterfall, looking quite good. And this game looks pretty good at 1080p resolution, unlike other games which look pretty blurry.
Seems quiet. Yeah.
And there's that problem. Let me show you that. I think this should happen again.
That's what scares me.
Let me get off the horse back. It's not happening this time. Like this cliff over here. Why did the FPS drop there suddenly? Okay. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, this cliff. Yeah, look at that. That's a bug probably. It should appear brown, not black. Don't know why is it black. Please fix that. Let's continue up ahead into the forest and show you the FPS go down back into like 60s. And in terms of VRAM, as you can see, it's allocating close to like almost the 8 gigs is being allocated. And here in the forest, we are once again dropping into 64, 65. As I said, when there's a lot of trees around you, it's gonna drop. And this is the first time I'm actually playing this game. I haven't played it ever on PlayStation. And I don't know if we will encounter any more demanding areas after this. So we are just gonna do the testing here only. So as I was saying, guys, in terms of frame time, it's pretty smooth, the game. And FPS also is pretty decent, I would say. You can get away with these FPS easily. And talking about DLA and TAA, let's check that out. We're getting 89 in this scene, 90, 89. So we have DLA on. So I'm going to change this to TAA now and check the difference. Let it apply properly. Wait, what? Still not applied. Come on. Yeah. Wow, that's a huge jump. Like, yeah, still we're getting like that 10 FPS jump, as I said. But it looks a mess right now. All the grass and everything, it looks so bloody. Like, how should I tell you? When I move the camera, there's like a blood on them. Even the characters, everything. Look
Looks
at
like
their
there's some cracks up
faces.
there in the wall
It's
up
not good,
above.
guys. Don't use TIA in this game. It's not something I would use for that 10 FPS. It just kills all the visuals. Just stick with DLA. That's the best. Now I'm moving this back to DLA to show you the difference. Now look at that. It's so much more sharp now. And you also have a sharpness slider inside the settings which you can control manually. And that should probably work. By default, the game sets it to like 5 sharpness, and that looks way too much. In my opinion, I have dropped it down to like 3. So DLA is the way to go, guys. Now, guys, let's try this with DLSS upscaling. We're going to use DLSS 4, the transformer model, which I manually overwritten from the NVIDIA app. And we're getting 90 FPS. It hasn't applied yet. Yeah, there you go. Takes a little while after you change the settings. Go back into the game. Like, yeah, quality DLSS at 1080p looks pretty close to native, I would say. I'm in totally love with DLSS 4. Such a night and day difference from DLSS 3. Don't fall. And yeah, this game is kind of heavy on the CPU side though. Keep that in mind. If you have a worse CPU or something lower than this one, you might see a little bit of lower performance than what I'm getting right now. But if you
call
have
me
those
up here.
X3D chips,
Okay.
I think they should perform better overall. And the 1%
I'll
low
keep
is
an
at
eye out.
60, which
Just see
means
if
that
you
you
can get the
won't
gate
notice
open
those
from the other
stutters.
side. Sounds
It's
good.
fairly minimal. And with the 4070 Ti Super, there were absolutely no stuttering I could notice, except the loading stutters here and there. And the textures, they look pretty good to me, especially when maxed out. But if you lower the settings from very high, then the textures becomes a bit worse.
Just almost
We're gonna
there.
try that as well. The high preset and see how that goes in terms of visuals. So this is with the quality DLSS, guys, and all that text becomes a little bit bloody. But that's something we can deal with, I guess. Why not try this with some FSR frame generation? Let's try that. So since we're getting like 60 plus FPS already, we can keep that off, upscaling, and use FSR frame gen. Now, I really don't think it's gonna be a nice experience with FSR frame generation. Let it apply. Getting 80 plus. My goodness, that input lag, even with 100 FPS. Okay, now that's better. 130. It is still nowhere close to like DLSS frame gen was. With DLSS frame gen, I couldn't even feel the input lag with 100 FPS. And now we're getting 150, 130. I can still
Okay.
feel it
How do
with
I
my
turn on
mouse.
power?
That's the difference, right? This is FSR 3. Obviously, we don't have access to FSR 4. Maybe that will be helpful, but that's only available for the 9070 XT cards, I guess. This is fairly decent. It's still noticeable. Maybe with a controller, if you play it, you won't notice it. But you might be able to use DLSS quality, and on top of that, if you enable, oh no, broke the brick. Okay, we have our knife, and use that. So yeah, maybe if you use a controller, you can get away with that input lag. Can we see the input lag? The NVIDIA app.
Okay.
No, we
Wonder why
can't
this is
because we
working.
are using FSR frame gen. Let's try this on top of quality DLSS, guys. Let's see. Okay, not this one. It's upscaling. I keep on forgetting that's anti-aliasing. Whenever I see DLA, I try to switch that to DLSS. Probably the image is gonna look way worse. And oh, we're getting 200s now. Yeah, this is quite fluent now. Smooth as butter now. The input lag, it's not there. When it drops to like 130s, it becomes noticeable still with a mouse. It's like a huge range where the FPS is like swinging from 130 to 200. That is a huge difference right there. Let's open the gate real quick. There's a lot of artifacting in the fences over here in the gates with FSR frame gen. Didn't see them with DLSS frame gen though. What I'm gonna do next is that I'm gonna drop the graphic settings to like high preset since we're using maxed out, which was basically very high. So we're gonna use high preset and let's check this out, how much we can get. So we're getting 100 plus FPS. So there's a huge difference from like very high to high in this game. And already the textures, they look slightly worse than what they were in very high. But it's still not bad, I would say. It looks decent. The facial expression, now they look worse. Obviously, the FPS you're getting right now, that's from like, we're getting like 70, 80s. Now we're getting 110 plus. That is a huge difference right there. Let's open the gate for him. For that, we need to use a generator. Here's our generator, and we have to get the cable over here. There's a switch, not the generator. Open that. So yeah, with high settings, I think the lower end GPUs can easily play it at 1080p maxed out settings. I'm guessing should not be a problem. I made a mess. I like this actually. This is the second time we're doing this rope thing. Oh no. Okay, great. Let's throw that over there. 119 FPS average, I mean in this area only over here. I want to go ahead and check it out. So yeah guys, I don't think we will need any upscaling or frame generation with high graphic settings. If you want a 100 plus FPS at 1080p, you can pretty much use the high settings. And there is also an optimized settings from Digital Foundry. You can try that as well. I'm not going to test this for this GPU, but we will try that on the 4060 and the 3060 Ti later on. You might need that. But let's move ahead a bit and check it out. Now, once again, we are using the maxed out graphic settings at 1080p using DLAA. And I think this is the way to go, guys. It's just, you can pretty much max out this game. It will barely like drop below like 60 in some areas of the game, most likely. Other than that, you should be fine. And we will try and lock our FPS here in a moment and see how that goes. Because the frame time sometimes goes up and down, so if you want to avoid that, I think the sweet spot would be somewhere around like 75, I think, 75 FPS. It will drop occasionally below that as well, or you can like lock it to 65 at the worst. I generally don't lock my games at 60 FPS if I have to lock them, because a little bit more headroom I like to have. Maybe 5 FPS, 65. I generally like to do it at 70, but this game will probably drop below 70 in some areas. And we are in this downtown area, and as you can see, we're still getting like close to 100 FPS, 90s, sometimes it's dropping like 80s as well. There you go, 77, 69, 65. So I think 65 should be a good spot. Let's try and lock it in the RebaTuner statistics app and check it out. So what I'm going to do is frame rate limit, put it at 65. I think this should be the way to play the game, I guess. If you want to max out everything without upscaling or anything. And now we should have that consistent frame time. 65, as you can see, should most of the time be able to achieve that. You might even not need to apply the frame rate lock, but it is something there I'm showing you, which you can do to avoid those spikes on the frame time graph. They are pretty minimal though at the same time, but this is the smoothest you can get, the smoothest experience you can get by locking your FPS. So it's time to move on to 1440p resolution, guys. Those of you who are gonna play at 1440p or have a 1440p monitor, we're gonna do a DLAA. Everything is maxed out right now, so let's jump in and check this out. We're back in this jungle area, and this is likely the most demanding scene I have found out so far. Is that is in this jungle sequence. It drops to like 50s.
Okay.
And in the downtown area, it stays like around 60, 70. I've already seen that, so we won't be going there anymore, I guess. So we'll be sticking to this area for the rest of the benchmarking because it's the most demanding scene which we have in our hands. And the VRAM, as you can see, is still allocating below 8 and using around 6.4. It's just started, so it could probably climb up a bit. But we might need some quality DLSS, as you can see. And I think with DLSS quality, it should be above 60 FPS all the time. And I mean, in 1440p at 1080p only, it was looking flawless with quality DLSS, close to native. And in 1440p, we shouldn't have a problem overall. Getting that 55, 57. Let's head out of the forest a bit and show you how much it increases there. And we'll go above 60, like 65-ish, pretty much. Indeed, it's going to like 65s. There you go.
Turns out you do know where you're going.
It drops sometimes when you move around, like 50s. It's quite playable though, even without using any upscaling, but I would like to stay above 60 FPS, so you can use quality DLSS. So let's try that. So we're gonna switch to DLSS quality, and I'm not gonna try FSR frame generation anymore because it's very laggy. I like the input lag. I don't like that because at 1080p and only we could feel it with the mouse, and forget about 1440p. And now it should be above 60 FPS all the time, I hope. It might drop below sometimes in the forest. Let's go and check it out. Yeah, going close to like 60 there, 62. Hope it doesn't go below 60. Looks so much more sharper. I think even on 3 sharpness, it is way too much sharp. You can decrease it further down, 62. Still holding above 60. Even with DLSS 4. And with DLSS 3, by default, the game comes with, if you don't manually override it, it looks kind of worse than this. So, okay, we dropped to 54 there. But it was like for a minimum time, not too much. For a few seconds. So not a big deal, I guess. Dropped again there below 60. And look at the lows, pretty good though, nonetheless. Now here I am in the downtown area as well with the same settings if you wanted to see this area also. As you can see, as I said, we can get like 80 FPS, 80 plus with quality DLSS and around 60 to 70s without using upscaling. So this is quite good experience overall. It's just that jungle sequence which is kind of So yeah, rest of the game I think you should be above like 70 FPS most of the time. If there is no more demanding sequence later on in the later levels. I don't know because I'm playing this for the first time. I have no clue. And VRAM, as you can see, still well below, like sitting around 7 gigs. I'm going to switch the preset to high preset and check that out as well. Using DLAA. So this is native 1440p, no upscaling being done. And let's give it a few seconds for it to apply there. It takes a few seconds after you change the settings, game. And with native, we are basically getting the same what we were getting with quality DLSS maxed out. I mean, just stick to quality DLSS with maxed out graphic settings because high looks a bit worse, way worse, I would say. Compared to like very high, there's a lot more pop-in, LOD pop-ins. Like the shadows, especially on the trees, I can notice them popping in. I mean, they were still there with very high, but you couldn't really easily notice them. But in high, it becomes way more noticeable. Like if you look at the distance over the grass over there, like look at those. But overall, I think the optimization, talking about that, it's pretty good in this game. FPS is also get decent, not that great. Could have been better, I guess, but by the looks of the game, it's fine. It looks like nowhere like next generation or anything like that. I think the part one was, since it was a remake, it looked way better than this one, and this is just a remaster. Maybe that's why it looks kind of worse, and it costs less as well. So that's there. But overall, I think it's a fairly decent looking game. Nothing extraordinary, with decent performance as well for the PC. And finally, for 4K resolution, I don't know how many of you are at 4K with the 3070 Ti. Do let me know in the comments. Would love to know. And we're using DLAA, and for graphics, we're using the medium preset. So let's check this out in the jungle or the forest area.
Maybe these WLFs
Getting
are
40
connected
plus,
to them.
so which means we're gonna get more in the downtown
Doesn't seem
area,
like the same group.
probably above
Maybe
50s.
those black market smugglers back in
And
Boston?
the VRAM usage is still below. Like,
Go across
obviously,
the
we're
way.
using medium
I don't
preset.
see the point in
Let's
guessing.
go down a bit
Okay.
and look at the
At least
textures.
until we
Yeah,
find out more information.
that is not good. I think medium settings. I would never play like this. I would drop my resolution rather to like 1440p and play it. We'll try with some upscaling, see if those can help us achieve the high settings preset at least. If you are not like zooming into everything, it still looks good. There's a lot more shadow pop-ins and shadow flickering going on medium. We definitely need some DLSS with this, so let's enable that. DLSS quality, I don't think it's gonna help. We're gonna stick with performance first and see how much we can get with performance DLSS, because it's DLSS 4 and it looks pretty good. Wow, that's a huge jump. Getting now 60 plus, even 80 FPS. That's incredible. But there's like some spikes, as you can see on the frame time sometimes. You might just lock your FPS and then those spikes are gonna be gone, I guess. You can try that with the Reba tuner. But overall, this is quite playable. Like, upscaling the job it's doing in performance DLSS and upscaling it to 4K is just phenomenal. I'm totally in love with DLSS 4 these days. Not so much with fake frames though. I changed it to quality DLSS now with like the medium settings preset. Let's check this out. And wow, we can still get 60 plus. That's brilliant. I mean, why would you use performance DLSS then? Quality can get you like 60 plus all the time. But that's the thing. We have like medium settings. I would like to play this on high preset at least, because medium kind of looks meh.
Start keeping an eye out.
Kind of muddy. All the textures, they don't look too nice. So let's try this with the high graphics preset settings, guys. And one thing I forgot to tell you again, there are sub settings. And as you can see, this little arrow, if you click that or click the settings name anyway, there's a drop down. There's more settings inside those hidden. I mean, the settings menu is quite big if you open these up. But anyway, this is high preset. I'm using DLAA at 4K. Check this out. And now we're getting like 30-ish FPS, 34, 35. I mean, this is quite playable if you're going to play on a big TV. 34, 35 FPS, but it's going to drop below that easily. You can use quality DLSS to maybe like stay around 40-ish FPS, then it won't drop below the 30 mark. DLSS being set to quality with high settings, and sadly, it cannot achieve 40-ish. Is it applied properly though? But look at our frame time now. There's a lot more spikes going on now. It's not so smooth, so we might need to use DLSS performance with high settings, guys. But yeah, on high, the textures looks far better than medium. And the shadow flickering are still there, kinda, with high settings. When I don't move around, it goes above 40 FPS. Then we start moving, drops. Okay, now it's applied properly actually. We were getting like 39 earlier. Now we're getting like 44, 41, 42. So it's gonna stay 40 plus most of the time. So finally, let's try this with performance DLSS using the high settings preset. I don't think we'll achieve 60 FPS. Nowhere, maybe close to that we can get, but won't go any close to like 60. Is it even working? Let it apply. Give it a few seconds. Now it applied. It takes like 5 to 10 seconds to apply. Yeah, we're getting close to that 60 FPS as expected. We can't really get close to that. I mean, go above 60. But even, wait a second. What? Did it apply now properly? I think there's like 2 stages. One's the middle stage where it applies half and then fully. Now we're getting 70. Wow. It performs DLSS. It's working. It takes a while. Make sure to give it some time. Then it applies properly the settings, guys, in this game. Or just restart the game for it to apply properly if you have any doubts. But we're getting 70. Brilliant. Excellent. You can go ahead with these at 4K. And performance DLSS, that's a phenomenal job. I mean, DLSS 4 in this game, as I've been saying. So this is quite playable, and I mean, in downtown, we might get like 80 FPS or close to that. Most of the time, it should stay above 70. So that is gonna be it, guys. For optimization, it's like first class optimization, and FPS is pretty good. As long as you use some upscaling, it should give you decent performance out of it, and it doesn't stutter at all like many other games do nowadays. And I am so happy that we got like 2 games which don't stutter like crazy back to back with Ashi's Shadows and this one. I hope the third one also keeps up. That is gonna be Doom the Dark Ages. I hope that doesn't stutter as well. That's gonna be 3 games in a row which doesn't stutter. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Do leave a like if you enjoyed and if this video helped you. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Till then, take care and bye-bye.